Ogaro Jerry speak is the last Thanks very much, Program Director, for this strategic conversation or dialogue that she did. If they are representative of the local municipality, you are also acknowledged, the district also is acknowledged. Let me also extend my gratitude to the Deputy Chairperson of PMF Limpopo, Merapela. Let me also acknowledge in our midst Mayor Bonchiwe Kwebu, representing the interim CEO for Fetahomo Tubaze Industrial Park. And I'll explain why I'm saying industrial park, not special economic zone. The leadership collective of BMF here in Tubaze. Khaki Ches Wakasema Peke Itiebunyaji Yalo Tuana Ketamishe Amafata Matele Warifuke Bunaji Anna Home Puliade Yale Militala Fela Marumeli Lichua Nayatamisha Lagatola Bamishate wa Apasha Banarimbang Ba Manoga Agneta Michelina Ratiquara from Period Kape Bamishato Agariba by Mecheke Kariel Home Megetut. Let me also acknowledge in our midst one of our exceptionally outstanding, remarkable, phenomenal women of substance and fortitude, but over and about with a world of vision and wisdom. A visionary, the founding member and the former chairperson of the BMF in Limpopo, the former mayor of Greater Gala. I don't know how, because Khaliya Maruting has me strong. Marawi Legua, which Ogar was already. I jab mayor because I was on age, Dr. Inji Ramaibai. Thanks very much, Mama, for this occasion. Our president has launched what he called the social compact, that the public and the private sector must forge the partnership. In that context, that powerful. Thanks very much for being a sponsor in this event, and we really appreciate that concrete interventions that now and then you are making. The representative of Samanco, I'm told there is a representative from Samanco, Tate Nonyana, members of the PMF, esteemed guests, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tobe, Lochan, Lokove, Aushe. I'm quite overwhelmed and humbled to be part of this prestigious, if not auspicious, occasion. To come and share some inside ideas and thoughts. Because the responsibility of the department that I'm deployed to is to ensure that we turn the corner in terms of enterprise development, but also to ignite the entrepreneurship spirit and to ensure that those who had already been ignited, we strengthen the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And that is the spirit and the purport of why we're here. When I was appointed as the MEC responsible for economic development, environment, and tourism in Limpopo, one observation was the access to the funding, which is an obstacle and a red tape. That's why I took it upon myself to launch what we call 1 billion ideation. 1 billion ideation. So that we called and convened all the DFIs, development funding institutions, you can name them, PIC, IDC, your leader, NEF, and so forth, and your CITAS, all this world. Every time you apply, you are approved, but you never get that funding, the sitting funding, or what you call the incubation funding. And that's the problem. We need to deal with the red tapes. And we have since introduced what you call the red tapes reduction strategy through LEADER as one of the entities that must assist us in that regard. All of us, you reckon the fact that on an annual basis, we convene what we call the investor conference. Investor conference is a platform to crowd in or to ramp investment. All of us will know that our province is anchored on 3 competitive advantages. That's your mining. You can't believe that we are the home of the 55 platinum group medals in the country. We are endowed with mineral resources. But the processing is one aspect that I think we have to deal with. We also have agriculture, which is economic anchor that we have. 70% that they call for of introduce what they call RAVAC, revitalization of agriculture and agro-processing value chain, so that we are able to process those things. You are Gala and all these manner of things, the avocados that we find in the province, so that we are able to unlock opportunities. I'm quite happy and delighted to be here tonight. And thanks very much for inviting me, because I've been fighting with you when we met, whether you have that chapter here, and why are we using a pedestrian model? If you needed information, you just phone me, and that's not how we need to do. As the province, we have adopted what we call the Limpopo Socio-Economic Recovery Plan. Among others, we have introduced what we call the high impact mega, or what we call catalytic projects, so that we are able to move from the paradigm shift, that paradigm shift of mindset, from the resource-based economy to the industrialized economy. Because it's only through the industrialization of the economy that will be able to stimulate the economy that will create more job opportunities. And it was in that context that we initiated what we call Musina Makato Special Economic Zone in Vemberg. When I was appointed, I had a dilemma, or what we call in economic class, conundrum, for expediting the Fetahomu Industrial Park. And we commenced with the processes of applying Section 54. It can't be that 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, we are unable to justify Section 54. You know what it means? You are giving a green light to say this must start. And I did that in the context that I know the multiplier effects in terms of the poverty index here in school and the change that it will bring in terms of the economy of scale, not the economy of the schools. Because we are here today just to lay bare what are the investment and business that are found in the Fetahobutubanze Industrial Park. We have just an application to DDIC by Minister Patel to say that we have this bankable business plan that I think it can change and transform the socio-economic landscape of this district and this province in particular. And now we're sitting in the cabinet for them to impress upon it and to ensure that they endorse it. And we become a fully fledged. In that special economic zone we have signed, and it was deliberate, what we call the quadripartite agreement. Quadripartite agreement, where DTIC, Limpopo Economic Development, the district and municipalities must sign that agreement because they have a role to play in the industrialization of that mining input supplier park that we wanted to establish. Because this must serve as a key program underpinning a spatially integrated industrial development, particularly or optimizing the comparative and the competitive advantage. When we started 30 years ago, before the democratic dispensation, we only have about 4 mines which we operate. Now we have more than 45 that are operating. But things I don't know what is the correct English. In the correct English, they were over fictitious. Things should not happen by chance. We need to be intentional in terms of what we wanted to do. What concrete interventions, disbursements of loans. When we give our gambling sites, our casinos, we have 3 casinos in the province. As you are Tabamshat, you are Meropa, and you are Koro. One of the conditionalities that we put in approving the application is that they must empower young people. And I think it's operating here. I wonder whether you have paid our loan. That's a good story, a testimony for that. He's a beneficiary for that. Just to be here and we think, I shall speak she was able to pay, if we gave you 2 years, I think la record is over. Yeah, but thanks very much. That's the discipline that we need. The financial management discipline, or what you call the fiscal discipline that we need. So maybe let me unpack what is this Fetahobutubanze Industrial Park. This is an industrial cluster initiative that falls within the planned platinum and chrome cluster. And this Fetahobutubanze Industrial Park will impact positively on more than 1 million people due to improved economic activities that will take place as we roll out this mega or catalytic projects. You have a pipeline, investment pipeline of 80 billion rands for Fetahome Industrial Park. The question is, who are the major beneficiaries of this? So what we wanted to do is to ensure that the economic activities that are presented by this Fetahome Industrial Park will not only yield improvements on the well-being of the citizens, it also assists our entrepreneurs to become industrialists in their own right. Contribute meaningfully to the economic trajectory of our country. You know that the Limpopo Development Plan is there, which encourages us to stimulate and propel industrialization, economic growth, and job creation. So this SEZ, if I wanted to be in your level, is strategically located in the industrial park, hub of steel port area between two huge mining establishments. That's your Samanco smelter and Lion ferrochrome smelter, which are strategic. We did not just establish it. Musina Makato, if I wanted to juxtapose this one and that one is a green field project. This one is a mix of the green and the brown development. Those who understand the development. In the language of business is a plug and play. If I have to come to that language, yeah, business. You just plug and play. It means it's real. We have started with the engineering master plan for this Fetahome Industrial Park. The labor force survey in the past 2 quarters, we were able to create about 70,000 job opportunities in the country. Let me go straight to what you call the mining into manufacturing cluster. Safe to say that as the province for beneficiation of minerals, I think there is this confusion about the beneficiation and processing of minerals. We need to deal with or demystify that dichotomy. But when you deal with beneficiation, both downstream, mainstream, and upstream, there are some processes that we have to do, what you call the value-added processing. All these minerals, the raw minerals that we produce there, where are they being processed? Obviously in China, and somewhere outside, not here in US. But imagine if they were being done here, the number of the job opportunities that they are going to create. But also we must bear in mind that minerals, any mine has a lifespan. If at some stage, Velcom was a mining town, today, Velcom is a ghost town. So you must think about those things. What is the aftermath strategy if these mines can do this? What will be towards? What will be your Fontaine and so forth? The issue of the Zamazamas or the legal miners that we find, the sketch and the poverty that remains there. So in terms of the mineral inputs manufacturing cluster, safe to say that you can't do that without what you call Mintech. It's a government entity that we have signed agreement with them that they must locate here in the special economic zone, together with what you call MEMSA. MEMSA is the mining equipment manufacturing of South Africa. The ones that are producing these trucks that you see, the tools of trade that you see. Like I said, the inputs that we have here, the manufacturing cluster, will be supported by the fact that we have 90 platinum group metals mines in Skopje district alone. And the geoscience is telling us that there are also a lot of mines that are still going to come here in Skopje. So we need to be more prepared. We need not to be caught by surprise. To say at some stage, this generation was here, there were a lot of economic opportunities, but they were unable to leverage on those economic spin-offs that are there. Because the issue is that we wanted what you call the in-situ production of these raw materials that we have, that they must be done here. So that they have, that's the other advantage that we have. So that the mines are able to procure locally, not outside. There is this challenge of also the renewable energy cluster, whereby we are going to locate those who are interested with the solar, the batteries, the hydrogen, the fuel cells here to us. And there are a number of the feasibility studies that already we have conducted that shows that this is the main objective of the special economic zone here to us, is to develop a low carbon green economy, which I think will offer promising opportunities, not only to fight climate change, but also, I agree you know that Stone Age did not end because of lack of stones, because of the digital economy that we find ourselves in. I agree that age has a feel like a sun and maswika. The sun and maswika, but we are no longer calling it a Stone Age. If we have what we call the fourth industrial revolution, the question that you must ask yourself, if I talk about the lifespan of mines, what has happened to the first industrial age that arise or arose out of that arrangement? The special economic zone here is to ensure that we develop a prime, what we call the green, to a localized manufacturing of both upstream and downstream. It's just that I don't want to tell you because you will go say this is our mind. Energy in the SEZ, the majority already have signed what you call. So the reason why we have identified Dubai as a mineral processing, so that when you say that you wanted to develop a platinum city for the benefit of all the people, we must walk the talk and know what we are talking about. And we can't arrive to that city, platinum city. The mechanics of the economy, of what should happen first, within those parameters that I'm talking about, that are there for mineral and the mining beneficiation that we need. Also, we need the land infrastructure as much as we need the PGMs. These are the resources that we have, which have a potential or the propensity to change the socio-economic conditions of our people and to ensure that really we push back the frontiers of poverty unemployment and inequality, but also to fight the quagmire of underdevelopment and poverty. The logistic cluster that you see going to Mozambique, why can't we stop that? At least we have a road now, the R37. But where is the rail? Where is Transit? What is their involvement? And we are busy having some negotiations with them to ensure that they must become key players, so that we are able to establish what we call the logistic platform that will enhance the regional network, because we are strategically located for exportation of value-added products and goods both regionally and internationally. If we are the gateway to Africa, bordering Mozambique, Botswana, and Zimbabwe, let's use that territorial advantage that we have. The issue of the agro-processing that I've spoken about, which is very key, because Cocoon itself has a rich potential agricultural development. We are the richest in terms of what we suffered. Even the maize around Nebo Plateau. And those are the other advantages that we have that can add value to the competitive advantage of agricultural commodities in the district. Lastly, there is what we call the smart city cluster. We took advantage because now if you go to China and sign some agreement with China, they have what we call the smart city models. And this model, it fits well of this special economic zone to this model of the smart city cluster through the retail and other areas. Your infrastructure, existing infrastructure integration is very key, and the resource optimization. They are very key in telling the situation around. So that the smart city is the funded by the private sector and the public sector. And that's the way to go. And one of the components that we wanted to bring here, through what you call NACAM, if you go to Pretoria, you will see that Tshwane, SEZ, has this automotive, where your Nissans, they are there. Why can't we bring them? The power of automotive hubs. The parts that you have in the mines, the trucks, and so forth. Those of opportunity and economic development in terms of the localization of the economy. So what I'm trying to say is that we could always derive benefits out of this special economic zone. So for investment pipelines that are there are about 11 companies that already have demonstrated interest to locate in the special economic zone as and when it's finalized. We have put them under what we call the due diligence. And only 9 were able to pass the test. And they are ready to locate. And these 9 companies will result estimately in creating 1,200 job opportunities. You can see the multiplier effects. The low-bound poverty index that you can see. And the investment value for those companies is about 10 billion rands. Not 10 million. 10 billion rands. Those are the commitments that we have, that they have their offtakes, and so forth. 474 million for the development of this special economic zone. Your RAL also has carbon part, the human settlement part, what you call the ecotourism, to derive more opportunities that they are saying they own that land, they want to develop it. The same model. We are just looking forward for that. The skilling is very important. Dr. Panel, this thing you are about to run mining, but the qualification and what I was sort of target them. It's not sustainable. You can get it, but you can't grow. But if we have a mining academy around, and we are working together with, so that they change their curricula to fit the economy here. I'm engaging the MNC for Ramakai, so that we have already approached the TUT to come and have a campus or a satellite campus. Or also Lulu, where mining, so that they are able to be a fitter to these mines that we have, so that we are able to deal with the matters that are here. One of the things that we have to do, where do they source the procurement in terms of the local, the SLPs? Do you know any SLPs that we have? We are going to employ community license officers in those 6 or 7 affected ones there. So what I can say is that the special economic zone is going to turn the fortune of this area, provided all of us were focused. We have already started with what we call the perimeter fencing that we are developing now for the benefit of the people. That will be the real economic freedom in our lifetime. The ANC government in the last 8 years has done more. Today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're all taking notes so that when the questions and answers session is finished, we're ready to engage on everything even along. Babuleji, the special economic zone, there were large numbers. 1,200 people are going to be employed. Let's make sure SPMF members and potential members will also participate in that as we develop managerial leadership. We would want to see some of us participating in that project. 10 billion direct investment for companies that want to develop, that want to be located more of towards SEZ. Arzaming, for those of us who are entrepreneurs, Arzaming, or at least 1 year, so one out of that 10 billion, 1 year, so that we become developed entrepreneurs tomorrow. Chair is opening so hopefully the home towards SEZ, once it's established, we will see 120 million rand road, build a big, massive skill center. But we hope interventional and agriculture dimension were in talks with the Boloro College and TUTs and whatnot. We hope it will bring change in terms of such skill centers being located this side. We hope that that will become a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our second panelist, who is an executive manager specializing in business development and investment promotion for the SCZ. She has a wealth of experience in navigating the intricate landscape of business growth and fostering strategic investment. She brings a unique blend of expertise and insight to our discussions today. Her track record of driving sustainable economic advancement. Ladies and gentlemen, please me to welcome as we expansion and investment facilitation, the Executive Manager for Business Development and Investment Promotion for the Fetago Mutubats SCZ, Me Punjiwe Kwebo.
Thank you, Dr. Khaledi. I would like first of all to greet the Honorable MEC and also greet our representatives from traditional authorities, from Makone Traditional Authority and Hariva Traditional Authority, and our representatives from district and the local municipality, they are here, the executives of BMF, our sponsor and potential funders, executives from Old Mutual, executives from business formations, colleagues from LIDET, and I also hear that there is representatives of Samanco, and all distinguished guests and all protocol observed. Good evening once again. The Honorable MEC has made my presentation to be more simplified. He has given an umbrella in terms of what these SCZs are. I will then go down into, I'll zero down into the how to capture business opportunities, because I believe that members of BMF who are here, or business formations who are presented this evening, we are all business-minded. We would know an area that has potential for business. We would also know an initiative that has potential for business. So my presentation will not touch mainly on the SCZ itself and I think the most important that the Honorable MEC only implementing this SCZ as a one party. There are four parties, which is the Department of Trade and Industry, department presented by LIDET, excuse me, and then we have the district, Skubune district municipality, and then we have the municipality. All these four parties have an equal task in ensuring that, we mentioned that we are currently in the process of installing perimeter fence and security features on the SCZ land in the Stelport area. The local municipality, which is Fetago Mutubats local municipality, they are the ones that give us the approvals and the go ahead. And it becomes easier for us because they are a party into this, and they also have an equal responsibility to ensure that this is a success. They ensure that they prioritize all. And then let me now then go back to the opportunities that exist in the SCZ. Let me first of all maybe describe what are these special economic zones. We've been asked one similar question all the time. What are you trying to do with these SCZs? Are you a mine? Are you going to operate like the mines? We are a purely government project. It's one of the catalyst projects over the years. So these SCZs, they are just economic development tools. Disparities over the years. What we have seen over the years in areas where there's resources, poverty, lack of skills, high unemployment and in most cases, they cannot be employed somewhere else. You find that they become part of the unemployed, although they carry a whole lot of experience. And these SSZs have been introduced, this SSZ specifically has been introduced or proposed in this area to deal with such issues that we've seen, such social issues that we've seen over the years. In terms of our key focus areas, I will also run over them and then go into opportunities that exist in each sector and in each cluster. So these SSZs are meant because of the vast opportunities that are presented in these SSZs. Our mining and inputs cluster, agro-processing, mineral automotives, mainly looking at the aftermarket, what we call the aftermarket in the automotive value chain. And then there's also the logistics platform. And then in terms of business opportunities that exist in these different clusters, we look at the value chains. If you look at that is coming in, for example, to manufacture pharmaceuticals, also to manufacture, it's a company in the pharmaceutical space, they want to manufacture medicines. They are already supplying clicks there. What is a value chain in that manufacture? Containers, let me call them containers, to package or packaging material for their products. One. Such a company needs to transport packaged products to their clients. That's the second one. They are not only, their clients are not only Sekhukhune, they are also within the province and outside of the province. Value chain on this, I've already mentioned two opportunity value chains. The manufacturing of the containers that they use. Secondly, the logistics of transporting the packaged, the consignment. That already is there. Thirdly, the opportunity that exists there also is the removal of their pharmaceuticals. They are also a business like any other business. They would need in factories. They would need a whole lot of other services and the idea from other districts to provide a service that will be provided locally. So our interest in BMF, it's mainly the members who are businesses. Doesn't matter. When we identify that, we go to BMF and say, amongst your members that I've mentioned 4 opportunities. It's not only for the government. In their planning, try and locate themselves. Look at the zone in the Stilbot area. Either to supply the mines, an opportunity to come and locate the SSZ. Those who are not in the space of manufacturing, you can talk of manufacturing, you need different artisans there. If you talk of the mining inputs cluster or mineral processing cluster, you need different artisans in that cluster. So the idea is companies must also, those who are in the training space, must also look at capacitating themselves to train for the SSZ. So that and then there is also a supply of commodities in the zone. I've briefly mentioned it. Construction, it's also short. It's a bit short term. There is currently installation of the fence on the site, on the SSZ site, to undertake that process of construction. However, opportunities there. The main contract, how it's been contracted, for local companies or local businesses that they can work within the time frame of the business. And we're not going to look outside of capacity and fully compliant that can come into that value chain. So in a nutshell, these SSZs are meant to localize. They are localization and the spillovers thereof, which are eco skills and also improve the economy of the so a whole value chain. We're looking at the TVETs. I think that's that area that we look at trade tests. That's how we've improved. So we look at TVETs. TVETs are the primary trainers. We look at what it is that they have And then we then take it to the sitters. If whatever we've identified there, and we also identify gaps, then we look at our funders. Leader is part of it, merit sector, they are also part of it. Then we do trade test prefab. Look at private sector, partnering in the private sector in training. Skopune Artisan Academy, Glencoe Training Center, and we've got a partnership with Glencoe. Then this value chain of also training, we ensure that it's training for absorption in the SSZ. Whoever trains or whoever has the capacity to train as a business, we partner with the SSZ, we train for absorption into the employ and absorb local labor, local artisans and local skills aligned to the needs of businesses that are coming into this SSZ. And then the partnerships that we have to any information. We have a partnership, the MEC already mentioned, with, we've got a partnership with Mintech, and Mintech's interest is already mentioned by the Honorable in the SSZ, and their main focus, the government is trying to formalize that process, and Mintech wants to pilot within the SSZ. So can we build economies of scale in terms of mineral processing by bringing in small miners who are at this moment, either they are not recognized or they are operating in their small enclaves. Mintech is saying they can come and process their minerals or their raw ore or their ore inside the SSZ for their external markets or whoever that they are selling to. So that also is, these are the partnerships that we have, and we also hope that we will also have a partnership with the BMF, because our interest is in your membership mainly. And we are also planning on programs of capacitating companies to fall into these value chains that we have that I've mentioned. The value chains that exist within the zones, it can be aligned to the clusters, it can be aligned to the skills, it can be aligned to the supply of commodities. The whole idea is to create that multiplier effect of having the SSZ as the main zone with companies in it, and then the multiplier effect becomes your supplier 1, supplier 2, supplier 3, building out outside of the SSZ as we grow. And in partnerships with institutions like, or organizations like BMF, we are able to identify the businesses that we can build up over the years to eventually form part of the multiplier effect or the value chains within the SSZ. I think I would like to end my presentation there.
Thank you, Mekwebu. We are unveiling potential paths for growth and development. And from the two presentations that we've already had, my social media, my fellow to understood the assignment. I see all the MEC and Mekwebu understood the assignment. From the presentations that they gave, as the BMF, we already have hope. In fact, we are confident that we find ourselves, especially as BMF, we find ourselves in a better position to can tap into the opportunities that the Federal SSZ are bringing to the table. We hope that we will also be able to uplift the economy, province, and also the national economy, as long as we become participants and not spectators in the Federal SSZ. Ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to end the program at 8. Nevertheless, because the Tawajor which are joined are felt pale. I'm going to call our third and final panelist, who is a visionary leader in the mining industry with a vast knowledge of strategic planning and resource management. His unparalleled expertise in navigating the complexities of the mining landscape will undoubtedly shed light on the opportunities and challenges that are facing the Fetahum towards. From the BMF, he's one of our members and is involved in one, he works in one of the mining houses as part of the enterprise development of that mine. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Tumelo Nonyane.
Good evening. Sorry. Evening, sure. Can I start with saying all protocol observed? Without going into the hierarchy, otherwise I'll miss it and then I'll get into trouble. And duty. My name is Tumelo Nonyane, as said, and I specifically requested my colleagues, and can I be open? I'm just going to be open. I said to them, yes, I do work for Samanco. However, I'm also a member into BMF. And today, when I got the call, it was the call of being a member, not a Samanco employee or representative. So, yes, I dressed for the occasion. So you might mistakenly say, Tumelo, but you dressed up so you knew. Maybe not. So I did not prepare any speech. Same like my parents that just came through now. So you might say, Tumelo, what are you bringing on the table? Those who know me, I'm more of an implementer than strategist on the paper. I can read a document and tell you it will not work just by reading it. So I'm more of a doer than more of a writer or even a speaker. That is my specialty. And with that being said, I think there's been a lot being said, and there will be more maybe being discussed through the panel discussion, which I believe that will be more engagement within. Sweet and short, from my observation, my background, I'm an accountant by profession, but I've moved to, you call it ESD, Enterprise Supply Development, and there's a huge shift in that. And you can ask the transition, how did that happen? You see. I used to work at what you call ASA Metals, then, now it's called TES. So every time they will close the gates and which they call themselves Banabamu. I will feel I would like to engage these guys and find out where is the problem. How can we, assist? Over time, I find myself now what we call. I started my business and it fell so bad. I think I was almost indebted 2 million or so. I went back to work, started from the ground, no more an accountant, in those big positions. But Samanco was a company that had promises and said, Tumelo, you can see what you enjoy doing. You like developing. So there's 1, 2, 3 that we have for you. You can start here. I started, and that's where my career moved from there. But guys, as I said, we're going to have a panel. There'll be more discussions. What I've observed in my journey of life, without moving to the issue of Samanco specific, as I said, I'm a member. If we talk the ecosystem, if we talk upliftment of economy, I think there has to be cohesion. There has to be working together. If I look at each and every one of us seated here, I say, how many of us are trading amongst each other? I can tell you none of us. If maybe I'm wrong, you would say 1%. We're missing out on greater potential through, and I do not want to start preaching. It is being a preacher. But that's where our power is, and we're missing out on that. There's sort of, yes, I doubt if that billion, you talked about 10 billion, I couldn't find myself in that space. But what I could put our hands together, we could probably get into that 5 billion. And that's where we started some of the trainings, which is more on JVs. And we conduct them. And I can tell you most MEC, the opportunities they got, but the opportunity more than that, I think I can help you to exit. However, my job is to train. And most of us as young and in that unity, we need to be developed on how to be united. There's unity. There's a language. It's low and it bears interest. You know, there's language, and I think we're missing out on that language. There's so many court cases that I've seen, and I've been in one of those as well, where we sue one another as black people. We sue one another. And we sue each other because of lack of that understanding of how does this relationship, how should it work? So I think we, as those opportunities are coming, if we could invest more in training of how can we incorporate two minds in one, I think we will achieve a lot. Thank you.
I would like to humbly invite the Honorable MEC to please take a seat in front, and we will to be brief because of time. Mr. Chidi, I'm going to request that you check a roving mic. There's one there. Yeah. Kimuka, we will then identify. We will then identify. Yeah, and so on. So Totomaga Mazowa 5 presenting, and then who is your question directed to or your input or whatever? Yeah, Totopela Mazowa. Sure, very DJ. Unless it was they did a good job. Oh, okay. What else? Guambrao. When I saw that they were, when I saw that ghost, when I saw that Mr. Manoke, when I saw that Memakofa. In that order. Like I'm going to take 5 billion, then, yeah.
Greetings to the House at large, the Honorable the MEC, our May Group, and my leader here. My question is to May Group with the SEZ. And a question is just a submission that I'd like to put forth. You are attracting big companies that will, and then you further went on to say they'll be looking in the communities, in the district, in the sub-region, in the PMF, people that are capacitated to go do the work, those people. So the Honorable the MEC was talking about red tapes. So I'd like to bring this thing to you. If now we are going to talk about capacity and capacity in a way that you want to say we want people that have over 10 million, for instance, to come and do these things. The Apollo to 100 people. You are red taping us and we will never get a share of that 10 billion that's spoken about. So please look into those things. When you issue out jobs or you are making, you are planning to develop, also take into consideration people like myself that are not as much capacitated. So I cannot go compete with a person that's turning over 10 million over a job of 200,000. Thank you. Who's next?
Go with the ghost because of house. Correct.
Dumela, the guy. I pass my greetings to even Bagadi Fugini, yes. The MEC, and all protocol is observed. The issue of SEZ, with the issue of what the MEC mentioned, that where they want qualification. It's not only that. We carry qualification and then we take the advantage of our people. Please. I believe that it was not by mistake that I was born in Fetahomutubas, and it was not by mistake. And I cannot be born here in such a mining area, and then it comes to pass, MEC, that I cannot mine, I cannot sell the mineral, I cannot transport it, I even fail to steal it. Yet I was born and bred here. And I'm not only coming empty-handed, I'm even having qualification. But because of capacity, as my friend said, I fail. And then we go to section 17 of Bill of Rights, where it says I have a right to demonstrate or picket peacefully. Yet that stage comes to fail us, because we are going in to that space to say no, we are frustrated because of such and such and such. And reflected on a situation whereby what we need, we don't get. Now, why I'm just adding with the word. Maybe positioning, I can position myself. I'm a contractor with level 2. I'm making a turnover, maybe yearly it's 500,000. And I cannot come to, okay, I can compete. How can I put it? There must be a will that if someone is on this level, what? Maybe if I can get a sponsorship as a small, from now, for an example, as a contractor, I want to manufacture ribbons. Ribbons are the advantage that there's an acid that is going to be bigger. It means those things, they are going to be needed. But if I'm going to compete with a company that is already doing that, and if I come, they said, no, what should we do in case of this one who are capacitated? This one, the funding, the enterprise development, even they want transport for that farmers. I won't be able to transport because as pratumela ubetikera nasi sorry akopana maybe ukagabona taxi paid. There will be conditions. But we know what taxi, there's these sorts of goods, there's these sorts of transporting people. We want this condition. How are we going, especially on enterprise development? So that we can tap, as small entrepreneurs, we can tap in that budget. But to wait and come to compete with those who are already capacitated, so we are including in the ESZ.
Okay, thank you. I'm Abraham Napo Manoke from the Manoke Traditional Authority. I'm not necessarily representing traditional authorities, but having understanding of how our landscape look like, I will attempt to speak on behalf of our traditional authorities and communities. So I'm directing the question to our Honorable MEC, more of a request that if there's an opportunity that you can help profile our communities to look at what land we have, what potential it can bring, so that if there are an overflow of investors that do not fit in the SEZ but would have got an interest to invest in traditional authorities, depending on the space that they have, such profiling could be assisted. You can profile our communities and share that information with the investors, and also looking at the opportunities that we see in terms of the intercontinental agreements. Africa now is beginning to wake up to say we've been doing business with other countries that did not even have an interest in the development of our people, and therefore there's a need that within ourselves in Africa we can do business among ourselves. So you might find we're sitting here in Dubai with land or opportunities that are needed in other countries. If I can give an example, if the mining requires tires in terms of manufacturing, Cote d'Ivoire as a country has got a rubber tree, but most of the processing of that rubber tree is done by other countries. and there's a need that we take advantage of such opportunities. And you might find we're sitting here with land that goes into land invasion, strategic land that has to have got more opportunities to unlock, but unfortunately, because it was not properly planned, it was not properly profiled, it becomes difficult for traditional authorities to speak to land invaders and to speak to their communities to say, look, this land that we have, if we take care of it, tomorrow it becomes more of value. So all we're just saying is come closer to us, help us to understand what we have, and then so that collectively we can improve. And lastly, I would ask, if possible, that in terms of agro-processing, if there's an opportunity around agro-waste, that also should be looked into. There's too much opportunities and wealth from waste that is generated by agriculture. You might find other countries that still don't have got energy, they will still rely on fire. But out of the waste that we process from agriculture, like waste from mango, avocado as an example, we can do charcoal and other stuff and send it to other countries in areas where they are not yet developed. So there's a lot that we have that we as Africans, we just need to wake up and smell the coffee. And that's the good thing. Thank you.
So I want to go to the 3 minutes. I want to go to the
Good evening. Protocol observed. I just need to find out regarding the STZ. So as business owners, and if we're planning on renting from the hub, is it going to be subsidized for locals? That's one. And MEC, I'm just going to bring up what we had discussed in Cape Town during mining in Durban. And here in Greater Dubai area, within the radius of the mining houses, our mines, they report back good to say, Bona, they do not reach the target of empowering women because Ahona Basadi in the areas, which is a lie. If we look for who are the men, who are it's men, and as offensive, when we go to the Imbizo, as very or no, we've only spent X amount of 4%. Which is not true. There are a lot of women in these areas running businesses. There are people within those departments, but they even know who are the business women in these areas. But opportunities are set aside, or at times those businesses by default, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. Women or basadi are being fronted by their husbands. So if there is money spent towards female-owned businesses, because still they are being fronted by their husbands. So I don't know whether this thing has to be addressed with DMR. I don't know whether as women we're failing to work as a collective, and maybe we're missing that, I don't know. But then it is a concern, and it is not true. Mr. Tumelo, I hope, as one of the representatives from Samenko, and I get because Samenko are like 60 days, maybe 90 days, payments, situation in the business, etc. But I think it's a discussion that we can have as one-on-one. I had a meeting earlier on with one of your colleagues, and I'm actually glad that you're here so we can have a discussion, because he did advise that I meet up with you. So thanks to BMF, you're also here. But then those are the two main concerns. Women empowerment, a little empowerment.
Thanks, Lawis.
Yeah, like an actually I'm a fan, like a journal to us. Get them all of them will go Mara, Nyapopedan to guide the assistant Shaboba MEC. Developed something concerning Lulu High School by identify organic at Shaka 1, 2, 3 to 10 into one of the schools, getting a trainer, mining related, whatever. The immediate football yake lo kulo irisa mongaka ya gore le dima gore re be le sekolo locally se la gore bana ba rena ba ya sekolong sa dimine ba sa ba ya Witbank ba ya kae ba be local, which means it's there le ge lo gore e mo ba tlhalositse gore e ka gore go stala mara dimine di fitse ka motho mo go ra go bolele go khumoletse ba bohlale ba go hlabela ba tshi a ke tlogele gore ke ditseng ya bobedi ke how many youth Baba train now in preparation of what we are talking about? I was like I'm only about when I youth the train now already. And I said more school over motorbikes. But they are ready to come here. They are already there. Mongaka, Lava, Mova Sanita, Muriti. Right, so that way you push out. Especially when you walk along Vegas for steel, go to the Saganella for the drugs and everything, but that was the people on something very, very big. Seriously, almost steel good. Right, to me. Piazza when to me, let's watch or what while train your part of Kai Barry. But I will let a get some right, open Barry. Our the Chabad Selena of the Becca and our by no people from outside of our train, but Valerie. I said, the guy hold. Yabobedi, a great fellow attended this special economic zone. You saw a meeting, Molana Matala, or like a solar, unless if they have changed, or what will affect your soul. I don't say somewhere a little president who will allow Uduma or Vasio. Babylon knowledge, even you would look at watch. Can watch you do Shakima?
Indian people.
I withdraw. Look Shakawa to a candy, one on, and I wanna again, how look Shaw Patelam Chelo, one a little service of only. Bawa, be a cow pinjo water, the next time I hear a Kumbia, while I airport back home. Let the gates are around to Pilo Mubi, and go for the portfolio and to teach each other. Mola Feta Montagodi, a Hanisha and Gamasa and Chatalama. You know, he will allow any scenes where you want to have access to the fair. He will take a solar, the other things like the Trevijan, the tomato, can I get but then 3 years to Catana or what I'm a farmer. No one will like a standard C. We are the local people. As we said, ready minded law and I'll spread the need to eat. January, that to send him negative lower and 2024 in a for 23, 22. Can request or have no answer. I just wanted to see your face. Santumility Kamalach. Then the other thing in your way will only the company where I am the attentive, get a farmer, and the one there are people from outside, Vanality company, they have avocados, if I'm not wrong. They need to squeeze the afos by the right of oil. Cover relevantly with damage. One of those firms, White River. I attended it last week. I'm going to attend it again, say, 16 January. Banyaki have avocados from everywhere. Anybody and I will let you more in Milan, Bamufatarata, Bamufa everything. But I'm feeling jealousy. I can hear Pomana. If feel a lot of Camoni, Marabona, they are not strict to Banyaka. They invited us
or if you want to buy guy and everywhere, but we are saying youth. I'm a mother to youth. If I know you or tertiary level, mara khoga mithuku on challenge class. We feel our area. Even rich bana ba ga never the first prevalence or virtually. I just want to reveal them. Thank
you. We are running way beyond Nakwarang. We still have to have dinner. So some of these questions, colleagues, if you have any question for any of our panelists, they are still here. Even during dinner, we have a networking session, so you can just pop to the table. Maybe after or man, you get a question about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're gonna answer. But we are pressed for time. So I'm going to give Mr. Loyan, I'm going to give the MEC, and I'm going to give Sisbunjiwe an opportunity to perhaps respond to any questions that might have arisen from our discussions, and to maybe give inputs where they will need to give inputs. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adedi. I'll start with the question of capacity. That's the one that I had, and one that we've always been asked as well. The scenario is that what we have seen in most businesses or companies that say they are businesses, you find that they only have a CK. They've never done any work. And amongst business formations, you find that they're saying they are businesses, but they don't have any focus of saying this is the sector that our business is focusing on. In those cases, it becomes difficult to build capacity for such businesses. And then you also have a second scenario where you find businesses operating as individual businesses, doing the same thing. And what we is currently existing, we only do 100. You know that if you come in as 5 companies doing the same thing, or capacity or another company, you can only build capacity by bringing together companies within doing similar business and ensure that they are fully capacitated to build up on the numbers to be able to supply. That is how the multiplier effect that I talked about, we envisage to work. Our interest in BMF is that if they could have a category of, amongst their membership, they can have a category of different companies categorized into different focus areas, so that it's easier to identify which companies are doing what and how can they be capacitated. Similarly with MEMSA, our interest in mining equipment manufacturers of South Africa, they are currently operating as individual companies. Most of them based in Gauteng, most of them based in Northwest. And the idea is that how can we bring them together in Limpopo or in Stillport to build a mining input cluster where all of them are processing in one cluster, so that the mines can really believe that their mining equipment can be processed locally. So that is it's difficult to deal with single companies if you're talking about numbers and supplying in terms of numbers. And that is that also answers the issue of positioning. Positioning, enterprise development, and also small enterprise. I think Nonyane mentioned a very important point of saying trading amongst each other and also incorporating 2 mines into one or similar mines into one. In that way we build capacity and we're able to before I put the numbers that are needed by the clients that are existing. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Can stay here until the sun rises. We are here because we are representing the public. And you've got that right to raise those questions. Whether they are pleasing or they are jaw-breaking questions. But we are here to respond. But thanks very much for those questions that I think you have put across to us. Yes, we really appreciate that. Like what you have said, the issue of the SEZ is one economic tool that we wanted to use to create more opportunities for all of us. Not using any selective morality in terms of who comes from where, but I think the issue which we put more emphasis on is more about the localization. It's not only localization in terms of the mineral beneficiation and so forth, but also the localization in terms of the skills, but also the empowerment of the SMEs. That's the context of the localization in which I think we are advocating. It's constructive if I say that people come to say that get like a bucket. It's only on unskilled labor where this has happened. I thought a person would be saying that I'm a geologist and I'm not afforded an opportunity. Can't you as government create that opportunity? One thing that we have requested the municipality to do in terms of the skill development, but also to have a database. You can't become a city like some of you has raised. If you don't know the human capital that you have, the skills that you have, the set of the skills that you have, that's why now they are busy trying to check and source the issue of the CVs. Just to have an idea and insight, which scientists we have, which graduates we have around the area of the jurisdiction, which is very key. One thing is that last week I was requested by the Honorable Premier to go and represent, because the Minister of Employment and Labour was here, to introduce people who have been appointed, or what we call the labor activation program. And the primary aim of that is the training and the skilling of our people, because that's the responsibility of the Department of Employment and Labor, to ensure that they come the mechanisms to ensure that they fight the issue of the poverty and so forth. Leader, which SEZ, is given for 30 million rands to facilitate training. We must be generous to say what is our benefit, what is our share in terms of that 30 million. That has been, he has been appointed as a service provider for training, but over and above, we are engaging the sitters that you know, the Americans and others to come in, because they have that money for training, so that they prepare you to be better placed and capable and competent for any opportunities in the learning areas. And the profiling, I think one of the things that I think we need to do is just that when we profile that the man, our focus was more on the industrial hub. And you are encouraging us to expand it so that we have what we call the socio-economic profile. And that's the responsibility of the municipality, the local and the district, that they must profile competitive advantages, where if there is an investor who wanted to come and invest, we just say go to the Manore, go to Natasha, and so forth. Las Vegas was a desert. But now Las Vegas is the casino. This is a desert people were despondent about. But today, if you wanted to entertain yourself, you will know that the world is turned into something. If you go to Saudi Arabia, for instance, 50 mining companies, but they don't have a single mine. And process them and come back. Retool our thinking and reposition ourselves for any opportunity that might come. There were some blockages, and that was my worry in terms of rolling out the SEZ. For now, you can see that there is a traction because we fought all these administrative bureaucratic issues that were there. And we have started with these processes, contracting, signing agreements that are